Open your receipt from the grocery store this week and really look at it. That number is higher than it was last month, and it is going to be higher again next month, and there is not a single person in any government office who is going to walk up to your door and lower it for you. So let me tell you what is actually working for people right now. All across the country, regular folks are growing real fruit in pots, on patios, on apartment balconies, next to the front steps, and they are quietly cutting hundreds of dollars off their grocery spending every year. No backyard required, no raised beds, no green thumb you were supposedly born with. Just the right trees, in the right pots, treated the right way. I have 13 of them for you today, and I will tell you straight up, the one sitting at number 4 is the tree that every nursery in America is happy to sell you and secretly betting you will never get to fruit. Tree 13, Dwarf pomegranate. I'm going to start you off easy, with the tree that is the hardest one on this entire list to actually kill. I mean that. The dwarf pomegranate is forgiving in a way that almost nothing else is. Ask for the variety called Nana, or one labeled State Fair, at your garden center, or online. These top out around 4 feet. A 15 to 20 gallon pot is all the room they will ever ask for. And here is the detail almost no other channel will bother to explain to you. A pomegranate's roots stay naturally tight and compact. Most fruit trees treat a container like a prison, and slowly sulk in it. The pomegranate does the opposite, squeeze its roots a little, and it takes that as a cue to stop digging and start fruiting. The pot is not holding it back, the pot is telling it to get to work. An established one will hand you somewhere between 15 and 30 fruits in a season. Walk into any specialty grocery and look at what they charge for one single pomegranate. In most of the country, you are staring at $3 or $4 a piece. So that one pot on your steps is quietly producing $45 to $120 of fruit a year. And once it has settled in, it shrugs off drought, skip a watering or two, and it does not hold a grudge. The pomegranates trucked into your store were cut early so they could survive the long ride to the shelf. Yours hangs on the branch until it is genuinely ripe, and the difference is not small. Deeper color, more juice, a flavor the store version cannot touch. From zone 7 down to zone 11, this one stays outside all year. Colder than that, just carry it indoors before the first hard freeze and set it by a bright window. Roll it back out in spring, and it carries on like nothing happened. Now, before we get to number 12, do something for me. Down in the comments, be honest, has a plant ever died on you? A houseplant, a tomato, anything at all? Tell me what happened to it. I want to know what you are working with before we go any further. Leave it below. I read them. Tree 12, fig tree. Plenty of trees will put up with a container. The fig is one of the rare ones that would actually rather be in one, and that single fact changes how it behaves for you. Hem its roots in even a little, and the fig reads that as a signal to make fruit instead of chasing more soil. You are not cramping it, you are flipping a switch, and what comes out the other side is a faster, fuller harvest than a lot of figs planted straight in the ground. Reach for Petite Negra, or brown turkey, and if you live anywhere the winters bite, the Midwest, the Northeast, ask for Chicago Hardy by name. That one shrugs off cold that finishes off other figs. People in Zone 5 and Zone 6 keep figs alive every year just by wheeling them into an unheated garage for the winter. The tree falls asleep, rides it out, and explodes back to life in spring. A grown container fig will give you somewhere around 75 to 150 figs in one season. Fresh figs at the farmer's market are going for $6 to $9 a half pint right now. Sit with that math for a second. Your one pot is putting out $80 to $200 of fruit every summer. While the figs are filling out, ease off the water. Let the soil go a touch drier between drinks than you normally would. That mild stress pulls the sugars together inside each fig until it tastes like somebody injected it with honey. Italian and Greek grandmothers have been doing exactly this for generations, and it costs you nothing. One more thing in the fig's favor. It fruits on brand new growth, so even if a brutal winter kills everything above the soil, the roots push up fresh growth in spring and still fruit that same year. Nothing else on this list bounces back like that. And if you are watching this and you have not subscribed yet, let me ask you plainly. Where else is somebody handing you this? Not the grocery store, not the seed catalog trying to sell you a $40 starter kit. This channel exists for one reason: to give experienced Americans the honest, practical information they need to grow food at home and keep more of their own money. Tap subscribe right now and switch the notification bell on. There's a new video every week, and every single one is built to save you money and grow you better food. You made it this far. The button is right there. Tree 11, Dwarf Nectarine. Everybody reaches for a peach and walks right past the nectarine. And that is a mistake because the nectarine is the peach's smoother, easier cousin with no fuzz to deal with. And let me tell you the truth about the nectarines in your store. Every one of them was pulled off the tree a week or more before it was ripe. Not because it tastes better that way, but because that is the only way it survives the trucks, the warehouses, and the days on the shelf. What you bite into is fruit that was built to look ripe, not to be ripe. Your container nectarine is a different animal entirely. Look for Nectazy or Nectar Babe, both bred for exactly this kind of life. They settle in around 5 to 6 feet, they pollinate themselves so one tree is plenty, and they give you full-size nectarines that finish ripening on the branch before your hand ever touches them. Expect 20 to 50 of them off a mature tree in a pot. Organic stone fruit is running $3.50 to $4.50 a pound in most stores. So one season is worth $60 to $120 straight off your grocery bill, and that climbs every year as the tree fills out. Here is the step almost everyone skips and then wonders why their fruit came out small. When the little baby fruits set in spring, and there will be way more than you expect, pinch off half of them. I know, it feels insane. You waited all year, and now I am telling you to throw fruit on the ground. But the half you leave behind now gets double the sugar and double the nutrients the tree was about to split among all of them. Bigger fruit, sweeter fruit, and a tree that does not wear itself out. That one move is the whole difference between a proud harvest and a disappointing one. Dwarf nectarines do well from zone 5 through 9, which is most of the country. And the container is your secret weapon against the one thing that wipes out stone fruit, a late frost after the tree has bloomed. In the ground, one cold night after bloom, and your whole year is gone. In a pot, you see the forecast. You slide the tree against the warm wall of the house or into the garage in about 10 minutes, and your harvest is safe. Tree 10, blueberry bush. Pound for pound, blueberries are some of the priciest fruit in the entire store. They are some of the best things you can put in your body, and they are honestly one of the most forgiving things you can grow in a pot, as long as you understand the one rule that trips up almost everybody. Blueberries are fanatical about acidic soil. They want a pH down around 4.5 to 5.5. Your average bag of potting mix sits up at 6.5 or 7. Plant a blueberry in regular soil, and it will slowly go yellow, fade, quit producing, and leave you with no clue why. This is exactly where the pot saves you. In a container, you own the soil completely. Use a mix made for azaleas and rhododendrons, or cut your potting soil heavily with peat moss, and you have built the precise home a blueberry dreams about. You simply cannot dial that in as easily out in the open ground. For varieties, Top Hat stays under 1.5 feet and suits the tightest spaces. Pink Lemonade gives you pink berries and a heavy crop, and Sunshine Blue handles warmer climates beautifully. Between the varieties out there, you are covered from Zone 3 all the way to Zone 10, so there is a blueberry for nearly every state. One grown plant gives you 3 to 5 pounds a season. Organic blueberries are $5 to $7 a pound right now, so 3 pots lined up by the door are worth $45 to $105 of fruit every summer. And these plants live for decades, so this is not one season's gamble. It is a food source that keeps paying you for years. People also forget what blueberry bushes do in autumn. When the cold rolls in, the leaves turn a deep, burning red that stops neighbors mid-walk to ask what it is. Beautiful and edible at the same time, which might be the most underrated combination in container growing. And the wheels matter here more than almost anywhere. Too much afternoon sun on one spot, roll it to the shade. Late frost threatening the new growth, roll it to the wall. No bed in the ground gives you that. Tree 9, pineapple guava. This is the one I am almost certain you have never grown, and possibly never heard of. And that is a genuine shame, because the pineapple guava, sometimes sold as feijoa, might be the most overlooked food plant in this entire country. Ask for the Coolidge or Nikita variety, both self-pollinating, so a single plant fruits on its own. A 15 to 20 gallon pot suits it well, and it holds at a tidy 5 to 6 feet when you keep it trimmed. Here is what nobody tells you. You get 2 harvests off this one plant. In late spring, it covers itself in flowers, and the petals are edible, sweet, with a flavor somewhere between a marshmallow and a melon. You can pluck them straight off and eat them, or scatter them over a salad, while the bees still get the center of the bloom and set your fruit for fall. Then in autumn, the actual fruit drops, green, fragrant, tasting like pineapple and mint had a child. You will never see this fruit in a grocery store because it bruises if you so much as look at it wrong, which means growing it yourself is the only way most Americans will ever taste it. A mature plant in a pot gives you several pounds a season, easily $60 to $120 of specialty fruit you cannot price at the store because the store does not carry it. It handles zones 8 through 11 outdoors, and in zone 7, it just needs a sheltered south-facing wall to ride out winter. The silvery back leaves look sharp 12 months a year, too. Be honest with me down in the comments, had you ever even heard the words pineapple guava before this video? I genuinely want to count how many of you this one is new to. Tree 8, Meyer lemon. There is nothing else on this list, and arguably nothing else in container growing, that pulls off what a Meyer lemon does. Every other tree here works on a season. The Meyer ignores that rule completely. It is ever-bearing, which means a healthy tree is, at any given moment, holding fragrant blossoms, baby fruit filling out, and fully ripe lemons all at the same time. You are not waiting for a harvest window, you are picking all year. Ask specifically for the improved Meyer lemon. That word, improved, is not marketing fluff. The old original carried a virus that could jump to other citrus. The improved version is clean, and it is the one you want, and it is everywhere. A 10 to 15 gallon pot suits it fine. In zones 9 through 11, it lives outside all year with zero fuss. In zones 6 through 8, which is a huge slice of this country, you grow it outdoors spring through fall and bring it to a bright window for winter, and it keeps right on producing indoors with enough light. A settled tree gives you anywhere from 50 to 200 lemons a year, depending on age and care. Organic lemons are running $1 to $2 each, so even at the low end, 50 lemons a year is $50 back in your pocket, and a tree in full swing pushes well past $150 to $200. Now let me be straight with you, because there is a lot of nonsense online about this. You do not need the expensive special citrus food they upsell you at the register. A plain, balanced, slow-release fertilizer covers the basics. Add a monthly dose of Epsom salt, a tablespoon to a gallon of water for the magnesium citrus, burns through, and that is genuinely the whole program. A few dollars a year. And when this tree blooms, and it blooms over and over, the smell that rolls off it is something people pay real money to fake in candles. You get it for free, straight from the pot, again and again. So tell me, how much are you actually spending on lemons in a month? Put the real number below. I think most people would be shocked if they added it up over a year. And while you are down there, if you still have not subscribed, think about it for a second. You have watched this far. You are clearly serious about this. This channel drops a new video every week aimed at exactly that. Subscribing is free. Missing the next one is not. Hit the button and turn on the bell. Tree 7, kumquat. Most folks stroll past the kumquat at the nursery without a glance because they have no idea what it is or what it does, and that is one of the more expensive blind spots a container grower can have. The kumquat is quietly one of the most productive, most cold-hardy, lowest maintenance fruit trees you can buy in this country, and almost nobody talks about it. Here is what sets it apart from everything else on this list. You eat the whole thing, peel and all. And the surprise gets everyone the first time. The peel is the sweet part, and the inside is the tart part. It is backwards from every citrus you have ever had, and you will not find that anywhere in a store, because kumquats bruise and spoil too fast to ship, so the only fresh one most Americans will ever taste is one they grew. Ask for Nagami or Meiwa. Both love a pot, both pollinate themselves, one tree is all you need. A 10 to 15 gallon container does the job. Outdoors all year in zones 8 through 11. But here's the headline: the kumquat is the most cold-tolerant citrus that exists, period. It takes brief dips down toward 15 degrees, which no other citrus comes near, so folks in Zone 7, across Virginia, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Arkansas, Oklahoma, can grow one against a warm wall with barely any winter babysitting. A grown kumquat does not hand you a few fruit, it hands you hundreds. The branches get so loaded with little orange fruits, the whole tree looks ornamental, except it is not. It is putting out $150 to $300 of fruit a season, at the prices kumquats fetch, when you can even find them. And when it flowers, your whole porch smells like you live inside an orchard. People will come up your walk just to ask what that scent is. Tree 6, columnar apple. This one barely takes up any floor space, and that is the magic of it. A columnar apple grows straight up like a flagpole, 8 to 10 feet tall, and only about 2 feet wide, with almost no side branches. Instead, it studs that central trunk with short fruiting spurs, and those spurs carry full-size apples, real apples. Crisp, juicy, the kind you actually want to eat off a tree with the footprint of a kitchen trash can. Look for North Pole, Scarlet Sentinel, or Golden Sentinel, the three with the steadiest track record in pots. They do well in zones 4 through 8, which is most of apple country. A 15 to 20 gallon container gives them what they need. Now think about this. You can stand 3 or 4 of these along a balcony rail or a small porch, And 3 or 4 different varieties means they ripen at different times. One in late August, the next in September, another in October. You are pulling fresh apples for 3 straight months off a strip of space most people fill, with a chair and a side table. Each tree gives you 15 to 30 full-size apples a year. Organic apples are 2.5, 0 to 4 a pound right now, but apples have a trick the rest of this list does not. They store. Picked in fall and kept somewhere cool and dark, your apples carry you through December and into January. Factor that in, and 3 columnar trees are worth $160 to $320 of fruit that feeds you through half the year. And in a pot, you can eyeball every inch of a skinny 2-foot tree in a minute flat. You catch a pest early, you spot disease before it spreads, you spray exactly where it counts. Try that on a big ground tree where the top is 10 feet over your head and out of sight until the trouble has already taken over. Tree 5, Dwarf Mulberry. If you have never grown a mulberry, lean in for this one, because it is one of the best kept secrets in American home growing, and it deserves a lot more attention than it gets. Here is the part most people do not know. Mulberries are among the fastest fruiting trees you can buy. Some container mulberries start handing you fruit in their first or second year. Nothing else here moves that fast from pot to harvest. If you have ever felt burned waiting years for a tree to do something, the mulberry fixes that quicker than anything I can point you to. Ask for Dwarf Everbearing or Illinois Everbearing. Both built for containers, both cold hardy, and Illinois Everbearing covers zones 5 through 10, from the upper Midwest clear down to the deep South. A 20 to 25 gallon pot gives the roots room to really produce, and produce is the right word, because a mulberry does not give you a polite little harvest, it buries you. The real challenge becomes keeping up with the fruit. Fresh mulberries basically never show up in a regular grocery store because they are far too delicate to ship, and at a farmer's market, they go for $8 to $12 a pint when supply lets them appear at all. Grow one and you are the only mulberry source on your whole street. Eat them fresh, freeze them, bake them, jam them, juice them. It is all on the table. One heads up though, birds go even crazier for mulberries than they do for cherries. Same fix as always, netting a potted tree takes a couple of minutes, which is a thing you flat out cannot manage on a big tree in the ground. Tree 4, Dwarf Avocado. This is the one I promised you at the very start. The one your local nursery is perfectly happy to sell you and quietly hopes you never get to fruit. Let me explain exactly why I put it that way. Avocado trees are one of the fattest margin items both the nursery and the grocery store make money on. At the store, avocados are $5 to $8 each in most of the country right now, and that price is not headed down. And the nursery sells you the tree on the quiet bet that most home growers will struggle, get frustrated, give up, and come back to buy something else. But a dwarf avocado, in the right pot, in fast-draining soil, fruits reliably, and when it does, the numbers are almost hard to believe. Asked for the Wirtz variety, also sold as Little Caddo. It is the only true dwarf avocado you will find widely available here. It holds at 8 to 10 feet in a pot, it pollinates itself so one tree is enough, and it gives you full-size avocados that are every bit as good as anything on the store shelf. A 20 to 25 gallon container at minimum. This one needs the room. Do not shortchange it. Year-round outside in zones 9 through 11. In zones 7 and 8, outside April through October. Then indoors to a warm, bright spot for winter. And the pot is the only reason that is possible for millions of people in climates that should rule avocados out entirely. Now I will be honest, this tree takes 3 to 4 years before it really fruits. I am not going to pretend otherwise. But ask yourself something, are you going to be buying avocados 4 years from now? Of course you are. So that tree is going to be growing somewhere over those 4 years regardless. It might as well be growing in your pot, working toward paying you back, instead of sitting on a nursery lot making money for someone else. Once it goes 20 to 40 avocados a year, at $6 each, that is $120 to $240 a year, every year, for 20 years or more from one pot. Run that out and you are looking at a conservative lifetime value, north of $2,400 to $4,800 from a single container. No advisor on earth is offering you that on a near-free investment. The one make-or-break factor is drainage. Cut 30% perlite into your soil before you plant. Avocado roots drown in soggy soil faster than just about anything else here. Get the drainage right on day one, and this tree pays you back for decades. And I have to pause here and be honest with you. If you have watched all the way to Tree 4 and you are still not subscribed, I really do not know what you are holding out for. This is free. It is built for Americans who want to grow real food and quit being at the mercy of a grocery system that raises the price every month. Subscribing takes 3 seconds. Tap it. Then tell me down below, smashed on toast, mashed into guac, or straight out of the skin with a pinch of salt. Let the argument play out in the comments. Tree 3, ever-bearing strawberry tower. I can hear you already. A strawberry is not a tree. You are right, it is not. But if I left it off this list, I would be cheating you, because nothing here, not the fig, not the lemon, not the mulberry, gives you food as steadily, as fast, and as non-stop as a strawberry tower set up right. Here is the reality of it. From late spring until the first frost knocks on the door in fall, that tower is making fruit, not every week, every day at the peak. You step out in the morning and pick a handful, you step out at dinner and there are more waiting. That rhythm of fresh food off your own porch every single day genuinely rewires how you think about feeding yourself. Look for Seascape, Albion, or Ozark Beauty, all ever-bearing, all proven across zones 3 through 10, with Ozark Beauty being the steady pick if you deal with the big temperature swings of the Midwest and the Upper South. Stand up a vertical tower, easy to find online and at any garden center, and you fit 20 to 30 plants into the footprint of one pot, about 2 square feet of porch. At the peak, that tower gives you several pounds of berries a week. Organic strawberries are $5 to $7 a pound right now, so even a modest run from spring through October is $150 to $300 of fruit off a setup that costs under $40 to build. And strawberries throw out runners, little stems that sprout baby plants at the ends. You root those, let them take hold, and swap out your tired old plants for free as they age. The tower basically refills itself, so after the first setup, your ongoing cost is just about zero. And the flavor gap is not subtle. A berry picked dead ripe and eaten within the hour is a different fruit from the pale thing in the plastic clamshell. Eat one homegrown strawberry at peak, and the store version honestly feels like a downgrade. Ask anybody who grows them. Tree 2, dwarf banana. Every time somebody spots a banana plant on an American porch, they assume it is just for looks, a tropical decoration to make the patio interesting. And that assumption costs them because a dwarf banana in the right pot is one of the most productive food plants you can grow at home. Ask for dwarf Cavendish, or better yet, super dwarf Cavendish. The super dwarf stays 4 to 6 feet in a container, totally manageable on any porch, and it grows the exact same banana you buy at the store, not some wild oddball, the real Cavendish, that makes up most of the bananas sold in this country. A 20 to 25 gallon pot. These are hungry plants, and they want rich soil kept steadily moist to do their best. Outdoor year-round in zones 9 through 11. In zones 7 and 8, treat it as a porch plant for the warm season. Out when nights stay above 50 degrees, in before the first cold snap, where it goes half asleep through winter and comes back swinging in spring. First harvest usually lands within a year and a half to 2 years, and when it lands, it all lands at once. A single bunch off a mature container plant can run 20 to 40 pounds, that is 50 to 100 bananas in one cut. Organic bananas are 89 cents to $1.20 a pound, so a 30-pound bunch is $27 to $36 in savings. But the feeling of cutting your own bunch of bananas off your own plant does not really fit on a price tag. And after the main stem fruits and dies back, the plant throws up new shoots from the base, called pups. Each pup turns into the next fruiting plant. Pot them up, hand them to friends, sell them. Banana plants are always in demand, or keep them and grow your setup. One plant turns into a system that never quits. Tree 1, dwarf olive tree. You probably figured number 1 would be a citrus, maybe the apple, maybe the fig. But the single best container fruit tree an American home grower can buy today is the one most people breeze past at the nursery because they have it filed away as a decorative Mediterranean accent and nothing more. The dwarf olive, specifically the arbequina. Let me tell you exactly why it takes the top spot. Ask for arbequina at any decent nursery or trusted online seller. It pollinates itself, so one tree fruits on its own. It stays small enough for a 15 to 20 gallon pot. And it gives you heavy crops of small, rich olives that are wonderful cured, eaten, or pressed into oil. Outdoor year-round in zones 8 through 11. In zones 6 and 7, across a big stretch of the Mid-Atlantic, the Midwest, and the Pacific Northwest, the container is the whole answer, because olives actually need a stretch of winter cold to fruit properly. And a cool garage or unheated sunroom with a window gives them exactly that rest. Come spring, it heads back outside and fruits harder for having slept. And here is the line that puts it at number 1. Olive trees live for centuries, not decades, centuries. The tree you set in a pot on your porch this year, cared for properly, will outlive you. It may outlive your kids. Nothing else on this list comes anywhere near that kind of legacy. A grown container olive gives you 10 to 20 pounds a season. Good olives at a specialty market run $8 to $15 a pound, and the oil value off a real harvest stacks up fast. And the drought tolerance is something else. Olives came up out of some of the harshest, driest ground on the planet. They are built to be neglected in a way most fruit trees simply are not. Overwatering is the one thing that hurts them. Dryness barely registers. If you travel, if your watering schedule is a mess, if you worry about keeping a pot alive through a brutal summer, the olive is your tree. One thing to know before your first harvest, olives straight off the branch are savagely bitter and flat out inedible until you process them. Do not let that put you off. Water curing, just soaking them in fresh water, you swap out daily for 2 to 4 weeks, pulls the bitterness right out, and costs you nothing but patience. Brine curing in salt water builds even deeper flavor. Both are simple, both give you something you will be proud to set on the table. And the look of the thing, plainly, a mature olive in a pot on an American porch is one of the most handsome things you can grow. That silver green foliage stays beautiful in every season, never drops, never goes through an ugly bare phase. Your porch ends up looking like a Tuscan hillside, and it is feeding you the whole time. I promised you a bonus at the top, so here it is, and I want you locked in for this part, because these 3 mistakes are behind most of the dead container fruit trees in this country. You might be making one right now, without a clue. Mistake number 1, dark pots baking in full sun. On a hot afternoon across most of the country, the soil inside a black plastic pot, sitting in direct sun, climbs past 130 degrees. Fruit tree roots start dying at those temperatures. It is silent damage you cannot see from the outside until the tree is already going downhill. Switch to light-colored pots, fabric grow bags, or terracotta. That one change by itself can double the long-term health of every tree you own. Mistake number 2, never repotting and letting the roots strangle themselves. A container tree does not grow forever in the same soil. Over a couple of years, the roots wind around and around until they choke the plant, and the soil quits draining, and the tree slowly starves in a pot that looks perfectly fine. Every 2 to 3 years, slide the tree out, trim the circling roots, and refresh it into clean soil one size up. Hardly anyone does this, and it is the difference between a tree that fades after 3 years and one that produces for 20. Mistake number 3, feeding a tree that is already in trouble. When a container tree looks rough, yellow leaves, dropping fruit, stalled growth, the gut reaction is to feed it. That instinct is wrong, and it does real harm. A tree stressed by heat, drought, transplant shock, or root trouble cannot use fertilizer, and the salts in it scorch an already weak root system and speed up the decline instead of stopping it. Only feed when the tree is actively growing, clearly healthy, and pushing new growth. That is the one time it can actually use what you give it. You just went through 13 fruit trees, a bonus section, and more you can actually use than most channels manage in a whole month. And if you are still here right now, I already know something about you. You are not a dabbler. You are someone serious about growing your own food and building something real where you live. So let me be just as serious with you for the last minute of this video. Every week this channel puts out one thing: honest, practical help. For real Americans growing real food in real homes on a real budget. No fluff, nothing to sell you, no sponsor. Whispering in my ear, just what works from someone who actually grows this way. If you are not subscribed, do it now, not at the end now, because the next video is already on its way, and you should not miss it. And do one more thing for me. Drop down to the comments and tell me 2 things. Which tree on this list are you starting with, and what state are you in? I read every single one. I want a real picture of where this community is growing food across the country. 30 seconds of your time, and it helps this channel reach more people who need exactly this. Thank you for sticking with me the whole way. Now go grab a pot, grab a tree, and start growing something that pays you back. I will see you in the next one.